Hey there, welcome to Hermit. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. We're so excited to invite you into our safe space. Hermit Haven is like a cozy little hideout where we can celebrate being confident in ourselves as we find happiness in quiet moments.
So grab your favorite blanket and your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Hermit Haven.
Hi, I'm Ashley. We're so excited to have you this week. This week, we're going to be talking about truly how to show up as your highest self. So, last week, if you guys didn't tune in last week, come back and re listen to this episode then. But you guys can also listen to this episode now. But this is really the action piece of what we talked about last week. And last week, we talked about really becoming that a person you want to becoming, like really stepping into the identity of that person. Like, what does that mean, right? And how is that process even a thing, right? And so this week we're talking about just the little steps you have to take, even how sometimes you have to be uncomfortable with these little steps, but you're gonna and love the outcome, right? And sometimes the outcome is not exactly what you want, and that's okay too. That's part of the becoming her.
Yeah, Ashley always likes to tell me, like, you have to set your intentions for the day. And that's so true. And if you do that every single morning when you wake up, then you're going to know, okay, this is the person I said I want to be. And then as you go through your day, I mean, we make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect, but it's like, oh man, I said I wanted to be this, but I'm actually doing this. How can I change that? And you'll start to think about that like as you go throughout your days and your weeks. And that's how you like problem solve and start to become that person. It's not going to be like immediate. You can't just magically become, and it's not even like a new person, but when you put new habits in place, or instead of, I hate to use this one because I feel like it sounds bad, but sometimes like when we're in conversation, we'll be like, "Oh yeah, my friend, blah 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 blah," and you start to say something about your friend, and sometimes it's not always mean or bad, and you don't think of it that way. But like, I don't need to be bringing this person that's not here into the conversation. Do you know what I mean? And so
Yeah,
I
you're like
sometimes,
filling space.
yeah, sometimes I catch myself doing that, and so that's something that I'm personally thinking about is like I'm about to say this, but I'm like, I don't need to say that. I just need to like just pull back. And so anyway, it's things like that, right? That you have to think about. Or like I'm not normally someone that works out in the morning, but I want to be someone that works out in the morning. Well, if you want to be someone that works out in the morning, then it's going to be hard to just like get up and be like, okay, what am I wearing today? What am I doing today? But
Yeah.
if you have it out, your gym clothes out, and you have your workout already planned, and you know when and where and what,
Mhm.
then it's easier to do it, right? And so it's like you got to set yourself up for the habits, or redirect when you feel your like self
Yeah.
not performing those habits or the
I
identity.
think too, like what you're talking about a lot of physical stuff, but I think too it's the mental work too behind it, right? Like, okay, if you want to be a great teacher, right? Well, you can't be a great teacher if you aren't a student first, right? And I think so many times we think that, I'm gonna be the best, whatever. And first of all, we have to realize we are the best already. We can be better though. That's the key right there, right? If we think that we're not good enough, if we think that like, oh, I can't do XYZ, then why would we even show up? Why would you even make that appointment? Why would you make that date? You have no interest. So it's going from understanding first, okay, I don't know why I'm not connecting with whatever it is, then realizing, wait, I'm actually good at this. I could be better though. What can make me better? And then once
Mhm.
you get to that point where you're like, what can make me better? You start noticing, okay, what if I, instead of, woke up exactly when my son wakes up, even though this probably will never happen, so this is just an example, I wake up 10 minutes earlier and make a to-do list for the day and say a little prayer and brush my teeth, right? Okay, well, now I've already kind of started the day because I want to be that mom that is 50 steps ahead always, right? And that might not be who you want to be, right? Take an example. Maybe you just want to be good at, I don't know, maybe you're really good already at horseback riding and you want to be better so you can be in a competition, right? So then maybe it's adding an extra practice once a month, right? Obviously, we can't do it all, right? If we could do it all, that means you're pretty much on vacation from your life. And unfortunately, that's just not happening. Like, and thank God that we have such a beautiful life that we don't need to take a vacation from it. We just want to add to it so we can grow with our life and become who we should be and we want to be.
Yeah. Like people think it's supposed to be like this huge change, and like everything's going to change and it's going to feel super different. And then when it doesn't feel super different, then they're like, oh, wait, maybe I'm not doing it correctly. But like sometimes it could feel very different, like if you have to put out your clothes the night before and all that stuff. But hold on. I can't talk without coughing.
Jackie's not feeling good, so we might get a little coughing break in between, but it's still a good conversation. But I think what Jackie's also, I'll let Jackie finish what she's trying to say, but I think too, a lot of it is not just the small steps, it's like getting uncomfortable even with those small steps, right? It's knowing that I have to do these things. It's also reminding yourself, like, if you've never put your workout clothes, like that's where, Jackie's talking about workout clothes. If you've never put your workout clothes before out the night before, why would you all of a sudden do it? Right? It's not like it's just going to happen. It might take a reminder on your phone. It might take, oh, I'm going to do laundry right before bed, so that way that when I'm folding my clothes, I remember to pull the clothes out. So I
We'll,
think so many times you get a Jackie.
we'll see how far I get with talking. Sorry, guys. My poor boys are like, Mom, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. It's the end of my cold, and I always get a cough, and it like doesn't go away.
Everyone gets a cough that never goes away, I feel like.
Finish your finish, and then I'll go.
I think that's the thing. It's like getting uncomfortable with the steps it takes to be the person you want to be. And again, it's not like you're not that person already, right? And that's okay too if you want to be a whole different person. Like, let's say you're a teacher and all of a sudden you want to be a DJ, right? And instead of working from 9 to 5, you want to work whatever. That's going to be a big change. It's going to be a lot, right? But we're talking about just the small steps in the daily day life you're already doing, right? You're showing up already, but how do you show up and start becoming this higher self, right? It's small little steps. It's tiny little steps. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just got to pull the plug and be like, we're doing it. Let's go.
Yeah, and some things are going to be like smaller things, like if you want to have more self-love, then when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, ugh, like I don't like how I look. Instead of doing that, being like, hold on, because maybe it comes to your head and you're like, wait, pause, Jackie. That's what we used to say. But the new us wants to have more self love. So, you know what? We're going to take that thought, we're going to throw it away, and we're going to say, you know what? I love the way I am right now, and it's okay to want to change.
Yeah.
And that's small and it's in your head. It's not even a physical thing that you do. It's just small. But every single time that you catch yourself doing something that you in your head even that you don't want to do, and you pause and you take it and you're like, hold on, that's not the identity that we want this year. We're gonna throw
Yeah.
that and it's that like failing, like I don't know, it's so cliche. Everyone used to like fail forward, but like it's kind of true because we're human, and in order to break a habit, you have to catch yourself in the thing that you don't want to do and be like, okay, hold on, pause, switch it up, and do it the way we want to do it, you know?
I think too, so this can be a totally different topic, but we hear the word change and we are scared. Like, let's be honest, because usually when you hear the word change, that means that it can bring the negative emotion. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. It can bring, oh my God, I have to do all these different things. Like, it could bring, like, I don't know how to comprehend the steps for change. It could bring, like, what if I don't like the outcome? So now you're worried, right? So I think we need to get out of this idea that it's not change in the sense that, right, like something bad is going to happen, something good's going to happen. This is like, these are small movements that you should be doing no matter what. Like, I think so many times because there's so much going on in society, there's so much going on around us. Like, you have to think about it. Before there was social media, before there was like, I don't know, like a 9 to 5 job in a sense, like before everything, right? Back in like the day, like day, like thousands of years ago, before there were so many things, you didn't like get wrapped up in everything else around you. So you were always evolving and becoming because you had to evolve and become because that was what society needed of you, right? But now we're so, stuck in the 9 to 5 job. We're stuck in, the same routine with our kids and the same everything. So we forget that we're supposed to be evolving. We're forgetting. And so I think sometimes when we think about becoming the higher self, we think this is like a big change. We need to stop thinking about this. We need to think about this is the natural order. This is what our body should be doing. This is what our mind should be doing. We should not be getting stuck and sucked up in what's happening around us. We should say, oh, well, you know what? This is the challenge I'm being presented right now. How can I better myself and keep going? right? And sometimes you might not know what that higher self is, that identity, right? We might not know I want to be the best mom in a sense. Like maybe we already think we're the best mom, so why do we want to be more, right? So it's breaking down those walls too and saying, hey, where can I challenge myself to show up more? And then saying, hey, you know what? Actually, I want to become this person that can do this. And so sometimes it's going backwards, even like,
Yeah.
okay, how can I break the walls so I can find this identity that I want to be? And sometimes the identity that we want to be this year might change, and that's okay too. But it's the more you show up for yourself, the more you show up for who you should be, not who you are right now, but who you should be, because we all should be someone. And it's not saying that you should be someone different, it's saying that you should be growing, right? Imagine you're a tree. Trees don't just sit here and die every year, like they continue to grow, right?
Yeah.
Like even if the winter comes, they keep growing. They keep growing. Like every ring in the tree shows how many years they've been alive. Like some of these trees are older than us, right? They just keep going. They adapt, right? That is their nature, just like we're supposed to adapt to our nature.
Is the light like, is this rays of light or is it just my camera? It feels like there's like rays of light on me right now. Wait, it kind of is. Okay, anyway, sorry. I was just looking at me and I was like, is that my computer? It's like rays of light shining on me. Um, Something I was thinking about, I'm gonna give an example, was, and okay, so sometimes social media I feel like makes things very glamorized, right? Like we see people with like their aesthetic morning routines and their aesthetic things and like, and this is a non-judgmental zone, so I'm gonna say something that I feel like I could be very judged for, but it's fine. I'm gonna say it because this is where we're at and we're being honest. So, I absolutely love my kids. I probably would rather hang out with my kids and my husband more than like almost anyone on this earth. But I love moving around. I love being really busy. Look at the rays of light. You can see them, right? Ah, can you see them? Okay, sorry. This kind of annoying
Girl
me.
brain major over
I'm
there.
gonna, sorry, I'm gonna move my camera. I just felt like very like holy or something. So I love moving around and I love being busy. And it's really hard for me to slow down. And that's something I've been actually working on for like 2 years now, which sounds like a really long time. But sometimes it's hard to break a habit or like a mental, not even a habit, it's more like a mental thing, right? Because I see everyone around me being busy. That's all I see everywhere is everyone doing the things and being busy because you can literally scroll TikTok and see different people doing things for hours while you just sit there and do nothing. Anyway, so this morning, Glenn and Gavin went to see his grandparents, and I was sitting there with Pierce. And Pierce just wants to play, right? And sometimes he wants to independently play, but he wanted to hang out with me. Now, in my head, I'm like, here's my whole list of things that I've already written out that I want to get done today. I'm like in productive mode because I've been sick all week and he just wants to play with me. And so I'm gonna be honest, I really wanted to go get my things done because I know how good I feel when I'm productive. And I had to stop myself and be like, I want to be the mom that plays with her kids. I want to be the mom that slows down. Even and they don't even need that much time. It's not like I need to spend an entire day doing this with him. So I stopped what I was doing, and in my head, I'm like, Jackie, like it's almost like your nervous system is fighting you. Like that's so terrible to
No,
say,
it's
but
so
like that's
true.
I was in mode to like go get things done, and I had to like stop and be like, okay, I'm gonna put my things down. I'm not gonna think about all the things that I just wrote down. I'm gonna go outside, and we played like ice cream truck for a little bit, um, and then he was fine. And so I'm just being honest that sometimes it's going to feel like so unnatural to like change who you are, even if it's not a huge change. That wasn't a big thing, me going like stopping and going to sit outside, but like inside my brain is like, you need to be doing things, you need to be going, you need to be moving and like
Mhm.
completing your tasks. And then, but me, identity is like, but I want to be the person, and so it's like sometimes
You're
it's going to feel
unwiring
like
what
that.
you were told. You're unwiring this idea that you always have to be busy. You're unwiring that like you're not good enough if you're not doing something, right? But like you're noticing that you're noticing that you and like the sorry, words, but like I don't know, the thought that you notice that the fact that you notice, there we go.
Yeah,
The fact that you notice that, in that moment you could say no or you could say
yeah,
yes is a big deal, right? Sometimes we get so busy that we automatically will say no.
yeah, yep.
Right. And so I think that's
I
part of it
can't
too,
right
is
now.
slowing down and giving
Yeah,
yourself opportunities to become that person. Something I
right.
heard too, and I heard this the other day, and I think this kind of goes with it, kind of doesn't. and I don't think you should ever choose your identity for someone else in a sense. But I read somewhere, it was like a TikTok or whatever, it was saying like, I want my kids to one day say like, my mom really did love me, or I want them to know like my mom really did love me, right? And I think sometimes it's things like that. Like sometimes when you're a child, like you feel like you're not good enough and stuff. Like I think it's thinking in the moment, well, what will my kids feel, right? Or like, what will my husband feel, right? Like, is this how I want to show up? Is this how I want people to remember me? And I think that's sometimes a part of like that identity is, you're not doing it for someone else, but do you connect with how people feel about you already? Do you connect with like what people, And I think this goes back to an episode. I can tag this. I think we should go back into this idea eventually, but I'll tag this if you're watching this on YouTube as like the end screen, but our legacy, right? We talked about this a really long time ago, but your legacy, like what are you want to I think we did talk about this. I hope we did. If we did, I'll tag a different episode. But I know we had this as an idea, so maybe it's just an episode we talked about in our head, never actually did. But what is your legacy? Like what do you want to be known for? Like, and I not thinking about this as like what do you want other people to know you as for, but what do you want to be known for? Do you want to be that woman known for that always burnt her muffins, or do you want to be that woman that is known for that spent hours in the kitchen figuring out how to make the muffins because she really enjoyed those muffins for her and her kids because it made making memories, right? Like it's the small little details. And I think sometimes when we're in the moment, we're in a rush, we don't think about these small little details. Like it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, but it's about being blessed. It's being able to take the time to do it. It's being able to make the memories. It's being able to say, wow, I'm growing into this person and I'm challenging myself and becoming this woman.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all rushing. We're just all rushing. That was one thing I thought about that I have on my identity thing this year. My identity page is
Mhm.
like to slow down and not even just slow down physically at my house, but like not rush. And something I was thinking about when I chose the ice cream truck was like I, I don't have anything else I need to be doing right now. Like literally this is the things that I have on my list aren't due in like 5 minutes. They're
Mhm.
not due in an hour. They're not even due today. And so I know that there are things I want to get done, but there are things I can push off. And I know not everyone has that problem. And some people would just be like, yeah, sure, push it off and go, maybe the opposite problem. But yeah, it's something that I'm definitely working on. Something else that I'm also working on is trying not to feel like, I feel like I definitely was a people pleaser. And I'm really working on like having boundaries and not feeling like I have to have an excuse for saying no. That's really hard for me. That's in my identity thing this year is
Mhm.
not feeling like I need to explain why and always have a reason for saying no to something.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me. Even if someone's like, "Hey, do you want to go to the park today?" I feel like I have to be like, "Oh no, I can't because blah 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 blah," because I might hurt their feelings if I tell them no. But instead, I just want to be like, "Hey, we can't today."
Yeah. People don't need to know your whole life story. You just need to do what you need to do for you. And I think so many times, again, it goes back to we bel I don't know, like I really believe that we are been shaped and told for a while like how we should live, what we should think, what we need to do, how we should show up. We're never good enough because there's always something better out there. And instead of the concept, no, it's not something's better, is that we can become a better person more than we already are, right? Like everyone can grow. And I think we need to break that wall of like truly like I am good enough already. I am who I want to be, but is there more to me than meets the eye already that I can become?
Yeah.
And taking small actions every single day is so important. And it's simply as like Jackie said, noticing in the moment, right? Maybe that's a step, right? Jackie noticed in the moment that Pierce really needed her attention. Like and she wanted to be that mom that was able to say yes. And she knew that, like, my to do list can wait. Well, Jackie's worked on herself for so long that she was able in that moment to make that decision because she knows herself. She trusts herself. She trusts the work she's done for herself and the mental work. So maybe, yeah, this is a great idea. And you're listening to this podcast and you're like, but I don't know how to be this person. I don't even know what this means, right? Well, maybe it's going back to the basics and saying, okay, who am I as a person? What do I love about myself? What are some things that I don't love about myself? And maybe you don't have time. Again, time is a gift. We don't all have time. Like Jackie and I are very blessed that we have some extra time in the day because we are home with our kids, right? It doesn't mean that we don't have, it doesn't mean that we're staying at home and just twiddling our thumbs. Like we just have a little bit of extra time to give to ourselves because we are home, right? And again, if you're a working mom, maybe you're not a mom, maybe you're a dog mom, maybe you do have that time somewhere else, right? And it's finding that time for yourself and then saying, okay, in that time, what things can I work on for myself? And maybe it's a passion, maybe it's a hobby, right? Maybe it's listening to a podcast, reading a book. What can you do for yourself to give back to yourself? And in those moments when you're giving back to yourself, that's when you start learning about yourself. You start really truly learning and working towards yourself. So once you start doing those things, what we're saying is going to make sense because you're like, oh my God, I need more. I need more. So this is the more, right? Like where we're at, it might be a whole different level than where you are. And that's okay, right? That is what this is about. This is what this community is about, is all of us being at different levels. And we're just here presenting ideas that Jackie and I talk about all the time already. And this is things that we're working on. And we want you to come with us for this ride. And so maybe, again, you're not there. And that's okay. We want you to know you're not alone, though. And so if you're listening to this and you say, well, how do I show up for myself, become more for myself? It's truly in the moments that feel like, oh, well, it's the only 5 minutes I have to take a shower. Well, then instead of worrying about the to do list, take 5 minutes to think about yourself, right? What did I do today for myself that was amazing? What can I do more for myself, right? It's sometimes really trying to separate what's in the brain and really give back to yourself, because at the end of the day, yes, all these things are important, and yes, you might need to show up just a little bit more for your husband or a little more for your kids or a little bit more for your job at this season or in this part of your life, but never forget that you matter. And so sometimes it's really in the little moments giving back to yourself so you can discover who you want to be in that identity and really becoming that identity.
Yeah.
You have anything else you would want to add to this episode? I feel like we really hit the nail. Again, this was the action piece to the last episode. So please go back to listen to the last episode so you can really know what we're talking about. And again, if this is not where you are, that is okay. You are beautiful where you are, and continue to know that you are enough.
Yeah, I think like when you know, okay, this is the person that I want to be, and it's continuous, like I continuously add to it. So I continuously think of new things, like, oh, okay, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I want to be doing this. I'm not saying that every single time I do the thing I don't want to do that I'm changing it. Like I don't always even remember, and so it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be like all of a sudden, oh, this is my new identity, and I'm going to be this new person. And you're still, I mean, your body's your safety net of your brain, even though it's uncomfortable to like if you're not happy being this person, it still is the most comfortable being that person. So you kind of always like your nervous system wants to go back to that, but you want to be this over here, you know. And so I just think it's not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be easy. And everyone has just different, we all have different things that we want to do. We all have different identities that we want to be. And so you might have something totally different than what we even talk about. And if you don't have kids, then you probably do. So
I think
there's,
I think too, if you're unsure in this like goal of like who you like identity project, find a partner. Find like someone you could like buddy up with and be like, hey, I need you to roast me. Like I need you to be raw. Like I'm not even joking. Like sometimes it's like, I need you to be raw with me. Like I'm gonna tell you how I feel. And it's not that person roasting, like going, okay, like calling that person out and bullying that person. I'm saying like I can go to Jackie and be like, hey, this is what I'm feeling about XYZ. And Jackie can say, Ashley, when in the world have you ever done that? Or when in the world would you ever do this? Right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, finding that person where you can be raw with and saying, okay, I need your help. I really want to better myself. Can you help me and listen to my ideas? And having that person say, okay, I'm going to tell you honestly how I feel. And then accepting that sometimes what you think isn't what it truly is.
and if you're an introvert and you get sad with criticism, then you could just triple it out.
Yeah, and that's another great way to do it too, right? Like, and that's the thing is like you're gonna find what system works best
Yeah.
for you. But I
Yeah.
really think something that's helped me is and again, this just might be me, but I think it helped Jackie too, is having each other. Like, I think finding
Yeah.
someone that you could truly like be like, hey, this is the idea I have. Like, I know we don't need each other to like validate each other's ideas, but like Jackie and I are usually on the same wavelength of what we're thinking, and we could kind of like then build on each other's ideas. So yeah, maybe like that's, what's helpful too is like we're building on each other's ideas. So maybe you don't have a person like that. So like Jackie's saying, use a journal, right? But it's so important to take what you have and build and build and build and build and build.
Yeah. Once you know what you want your identity to be, you'll start to see whether the people around you really share those same things and if who you need to invest more of your time into and who you need to invest
Yeah.
less of your time into. And that's just kind of the reality of it because our people that are around us really affect us more than we even realize. And so having a community like this of people that want to support you and help you grow is so important. And that's why if you have people in your life that you know could use like a community like this or whatever, want to be a part of an amazing girl gang, then send them this episode or send them to our social media, and they can connect with us too.
Yeah, and I think too, like if this is something you're really connecting with, please let us know. Again, we really want to figure out what you guys want to hear. We love you all. Thank you again for coming here. We really appreciate you all, and we're here for you. We'll see you next Wednesday for the next episode, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.
Thanks for spending time with us today and being part of our Hermit Haven community.
We hope you enjoyed our cozy chat and are inspired to embrace your inner hermit.
Remember, even in the quiet moments, you're never alone on this journey because we are truly all in this together.
So until next time, stay cozy, stay true to yourself, and keep spreading love wherever you go.
Bye for now.
We'll see you next time.